Welcome back to another episode of Trades Talk. We brought back Big Kahuna Moving and More. Got a lot of questions from you guys about very specific questions. So we're going to go into some of those questions today. I got them here from what people have been sending us, and I brought the experts in to get the answers to that. So welcome back, guys.
Thanks for having us.
You obviously motivated the Gainesville residents to say, hey, I need to know this, I need to know more. So I'm going to jump right into it if that's good. Question and answer. We're going to rapid fire here. How's that sound? All right. Big common question is, how do I maximize my budget? You know, in today's economy, and the dollar ain't going as far as it used to. If I have X amount of money available to move, how do I maximize that budget?
Well, first, I would like to say, in that capacity of maximizing your budget, what do you want to keep? If you have a ton of clothes that you haven't used for 5-6 years,
I'm going to get back into those workout clothes, though. You know, my wrestling days are not far behind. I'm going to get back.
From there, I would like start 3 to 4 piles of what you're going to keep, what you're going to give away, what you're going to throw away, and what you're going to sell. From there, if there's like furniture that is falling apart, you might want to, put that to the curb. I know
curb alert, right?
I know for one, some realtors don't like a lot of clutter when you're trying to sell your home. So from there, you can figure that part out in that capacity of what you want to keep or get rid of. To help maximize on moving day, have all the boxes located in one direction, one designated area, like the dining room closest to the door, or in the garage. From there, you can also take apart the beds. We don't, but it is part of our service to sit there and help you in that capacity if you don't want to do it, because it,
sometimes it gets tricky.
Yeah.
So let me go into that a little bit. So, just off the cuff, I take my bed apart.
Mm-hmm.
You guys move it, and you try to put it back together, or since I took it apart, I put it back together?
Well, it's all part of the service. So if you decide for us to put it back together, we'll put it back together for you. If there's things missing, we'll definitely tell you that, your hardware is missing. But
ideally, if you're responsible for putting it back together, you're going to want to take it apart. So
yes.
Yeah, that's the rule of thumb. If we take it apart, we'll put it back together because we understand the mechanism and how it's put together. And then usually, if we just dump it off, say, hey, here you go, put it back together, you're like, well, how did you even get this apart?
Right.
And then you're in there for 5 hours trying to figure it out. So usually, if we take it apart, we try to put it back together.
All right. Well, okay, that's our budget. So don't move stuff that I'm going to throw away at the other end. That's kind of the first part. And then, obviously, we're in a college town, so you put something on the curb, it's probably going to go. You don't even have to pay to dispose of it, right? And then obviously be a blessing to others if you could donate. Donate as you can.
And there's plenty of places in town, peaceful paths. We will transport, that if that's something that they'd like before the move or after the move, in that capacity to help.
So here was another one, kind of along that. Can I pack it myself, or can I take it apart to save money? So ultimately, yes, you can pack it yourself. But again, so I got china.
Mm-hmm.
I pack the china myself. You guys move it. I unpack it and it's all broke. Who's responsible?
Typically, it would be who put it in there, because I could put one glass bowl in a box and it bounces all around. It's like, well, I didn't pack that. It should have been secured better. It's not like we're, flipping the truck and doing all kinds of things like that. If it bounces and it hits something because it's not fully secured, I don't know what's in the box if it's already taped. So I didn't put it in there. That's not to our specifications of how we would have did it.
So if I hire you as a turnkey, you came in, you packed everything up, you deliver it, and then you can also unpack it all, right? And take all the stuff with it. At that point, if something's broke, that's on you. Take that responsibility.
That's our responsibility.
But if I go ahead and budget's big, right, and I want a risk versus reward kind of thing, I can save a little money by packing it myself and unpacking it myself. But at that point, I'm taking the risk of it makes it there in one piece.
Yes, that's
beyond obvious things. You threw it down the flight of stairs, and the box comes in and it's all broken. You could hear it as you walk up the stairs.
But we also educate our clients in the capacity of mover tip, how to pack a box, what size box to use with certain things. We don't want a large box full of books that is going to weigh 200 pounds. We prefer
From experience.
those.
From experience.
Yes. We'd love heavier items in smaller boxes.
What?
Large boxes will have, I would say, pillows, comforters, blankets, and that capacity. I gotta stop using that word capacity.
What room of the house do you find takes the most packing? Is the kitchen the ones that seem to be?
And dining room.
Kitchen and dining room seems
All
to be
the
that takes the
china,
most
the
time.
stemware.
I mean, if
crystals.
you're a professional packer and you pack it right, you're going to be putting a piece of paper on every piece of ceramic
Mm-hmm.
and more. You know, because you have to, you know, sometimes you got to use two, you got to use bubble, you got to use these different things because sometimes you'll only get one of these pieces that can fit in a box, and you know, a piece of paper is not going to protect it. You got to put bubble, you got to put other things, and you got to fill up the space because say if the box does flip and it, you know, you got a lot of air to move in there, we want to keep it secure.
You want to maximize the space of a box also. You want to make sure that it is all the way up to the top so it does not have any bend in the middle or it has any flux.
It's what we call a soft top. You know, you have, it's not, you know, heavy, but it's not light, but you put something on it and it's
Just
going to
crush
sink it in. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. You need to get it up to the top to where it's secure and it has some sort of base to it. That way the next thing has a base that sits on it. That way as you go up.
So that would bring us into our next question here, kind of like hourly rate or flat rate. So if I'm thinking about moving, why can't I just call you up and say, hey, I got a 4-bedroom house, how much is it going to cost me to move? Some of the things you just said, it kind of leads me down to that answer. Why is it that you guys come out and put your eyes on all this stuff to get me an accurate quote?
I'll say this, and this is kind of getting into a wide range, is you have a 4-bedroom house and you have 3 beds out of the 4 bedrooms. You could have a mattress on the floor, you could have a Tempur-Pedic, you have a sleep number, you have all these different levels of beds that take different amount of time, different type of professionalism, different type of attention to get these taken apart. Some people have sleep numbers that are still under warranty that we're not allowed to touch, because if we do, it voids their warranty for that bed. When you have a $9,000 bed, you need to see, do you want to save your warranty or do you want to leave it in the hands of professionals that are equivalent or just as good as the people that came and put it together? But you have different types of beds. You know, like I said, you can have one sitting on the floor, you could have a whole delicate king size bed that, you know, takes all these different bolts to take apart, lights under it, which we've come across. So there's different levels to the depth of the house.
You want to be as efficient as possible to sit there and help you in your journey. Moving is stressful as it is. And it's just easier for all of us to, I know what you're talking about when you say, hey, I'm on the phone, I have this, this, and this. I was like, okay, well, it takes between 15 and 20 minutes for us to come out, give you a free in-home estimate, we'll walk through the home with you, we'll ask certain questions that you're going to need, that we're going to need to sit there and help not only our staff up front, where, you know, at the office, but also mainly the guys that are doing the physical labor, so that they know and they don't feel like, hey, you left this out already, you know, starting off at the wrong foot in that capacity.
So with that, if that's the case, if I got it in home, that moves me into my next part here.
But let's say if we do have an out of town home that has, you know, 4 bedrooms, we do video walkthroughs we do video walkthroughs. So what that means is you're gonna start from the beginning of your home, you're gonna walk through and show me everything. Don't leave out anything, even the things that you think that you're gonna sell or give away. Put them on there. Put it on the list.
Most descriptive. More description, more things that we can.
Less surprises at the
exactly.
end, the more detail in the beginning.
So when you're packing a truck top to bottom, front to back, and you have one truck and you're in Chicago and you're coming to Pennsylvania, there ain't no, we'll get another truck,
we'll be right
do
back.
this, or no.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be good at what you do.
So at that point, if the planning is that important, at what part in the process do I engage you guys? Do I call you up and say, hey, my house sold, I got to be gone next week? Do I call you up and says, hey, I'm thinking about moving sometime in 2030?
So the more knowledge, like we have this, okay, they have a time window, they're trying to get this done, and we're looking at it like, Most customers can't get that packing done in that amount of time. You might want to hire us to come in there and get it done. If you have a deadline to get out and you're only 1 week away, that's a good time to say, hey, I don't want this. Y'all can throw this out of the road. We need to get all this packed in, to dial in on time.
So the sooner the better in at least the planning process.
If I'm a homeowner and I know that I'm putting my house on the market, I would be calling movers, where I would be asking more questions towards the realtor, like how long they believe the house is going to be.
All right, and then
I was going to add something to that.
Sure.
This also ties into what I tell a lot of the guys that work with us is when we go in there and they need us to move this stuff out, they're going to sell this house or they're going to rent this out. What are they going to do with a big gash across this wooden floor because either they couldn't move it and they should have hired us, or if we got some new guy that's not trained, we can't leave anything like that. We don't want that customer to have that type of, visual on their house that they're trying to sell. They're like, man, I should have called you guys to help me move some of this stuff around before I messed up the floor. Because then they got floor guys in there, drywall guys, and that's another thing that comes into like hire the professionals, do the professional work, let your realtor sell the house for you.
well, that's a perfect transition to this next question. What happens if my closing date falls through? So what I'm hearing is it could fall through, but it also could be during the move out, I damaged something as a homeowner. Now I got my walkthrough for the new residents, and they're like, we're not taking possession until that's fixed, that floor or whatever. So what happens if I planned on moving out, we're closing at the end, everyone wants to close at the end of the month for interest or whatever,
absolutely.
right?
I can tell you from experience that we've had a customer, we loaded up their entire house, and from there, their closing kind of fell through with the title company. We've held their belongings overnight, and then we're able to transition them into the home the following day. We've also had to push back a day or two. We try to be as accommodating as possible, but we also have a schedule of our own. So there's certain situations that require certain kind of handling with that, and we try to do our best to sit there and accommodate.
All right, and then kind of the last one here is heavy items like grand pianos or gun safes or things like that. What do I need to do? Let's do gun safe first. I got a gun safe. Do you transport the firearms too? Is that my responsibility? Is that your responsibility?
Every man or woman's safe is different in that capacity. I prefer the weapons not to be in the safe for itself, just in case, like everyone's like, oh, they're unloaded or anything like that. Well, there could be that one case where it's not. We definitely don't like to transport ammo inside of the safe. If there's like 2 or 3 weapons possibly, or firearms, that's okay with us. It's just basically like sometimes, that would be a nightmare. That's
Going down those stairs
going down
with
steps
a gun safe.
with a gun safe. Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. I would say, I'm having a train of thought.
So on that, we're going down these stairs with a gun safe. Jesse, you're up top, he's at the bottom, right?
We'd have a little bit more people. We'd have a little bit more people to sit there and help us with that. It just depends.
Those items, it's all about time and professionalism. There's no fast route. There's no like, get on the truck and go. Well, somebody's gonna have a broken leg. I've seen other companies do things falling off of dollies, hitting guys, and they're like seeing stars, and it's like, well, if you've been watching what you're doing, So you don't want to get your toe ran over. You don't want to be on the back of one of them trucks, and when that lift gate comes up, if your foot's under there, that thing's getting chopped off. Because you're looking around trying to hold this safe while it's doing this. Professionalism and safety and timing has to be, above all, because otherwise you get hurt, you break a leg. It's not what you want to deal with.
So what about like a piano? Is there like training and certifications required to move these pianos? I mean, all you ever hear is baby grand pianos or whatever, and trying to move them, and you see them hanging out of balconies and things like that.
From experience, baby grand pianos, very delicate. There's a process that we have. We have a formula of how we started, from why we do things and how we do things for the safety of not only the item, but most importantly for our staff and everyone around us. We've gotten so good at taking pianos, we can I know he can probably do it blindfolded. I know I'm pretty good at taking those apart also. And one thing that's very unique from other companies that separates us from our other competitors is you're gonna have either both of us or one of us that is on site on a job every single time, and that's what really separates us from other companies, because we're not just hiding in.
So the owner's going to be there, overseeing the project, every project,
Yes,
all the
sir.
time.
Yes, sir.
Very neat.
And we also understand that it's hard to get 3 different types of people. Say if you got a safe and a piano and the movers look, well, we don't touch that, we don't touch that. So then you got 3 different organizations in there.
So I have my special bed guy, my safe guy, my piano guy, and then my packer and cleaner.
It's like, you know.
Oh, and then there's the floor clock guy.
Oh, the floor clocks, yeah.
So we really go in depth of the training and understanding, well, if I do this, this is going to happen. If I do this, this might happen. If I turn this way, it might go this way. So really understanding your job and what you handle. That way you don't got to have 5 different trucks out here. Well, we got to wait on you to get out of the way to do this. And it's like, well, when you want to have a company that's experienced and all that, you know, I wouldn't say certified, because there are piano moving companies, there are safe moving companies, and I'm pretty sure they go through their own training and everything like that. But
We have moved through.
yeah, we have been through that. And I have moved probably 25 baby grand pianos without damaging any of them.
All right, well, that's excellent. That's all your questions that you sent in. Hopefully we've answered them. I'm sure it's going to generate some more. Go ahead and put some questions down in those comments. We will have them answer them right on our page here. If we get enough, we'll have you back for a third, fourth, fifth time. I mean, this seems to be a big topic in Gainesville. And anything else you want to leave us with? Anything we haven't asked?
You can follow us on all social platforms: Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Big Kahuna Moving and More, LLC. Like, share, and follow.
All right, I appreciate it, guys. Till next time.